And we're live. Good morning. Today is April 3rd, 2022, and we welcome you to New York Buddhist Church's monthly Shotsuki Hoyo service, streamed live on YouTube and Facebook. We will begin with quiet sitting. Please sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, calm your mind, and follow your breath. We will begin with Sambujo, 3 respectful callings, followed by Hyobyakumon, and then the reading of Shotsuki Hoyo names. Today's chant is JØ-SEI-GE, reaffirming the vows, Tan Nembutsu and Ekoku Transference, followed by Vandana and Tisarana. Our reading today is This Body Is Not Me by Thich Nhat Hanh. Reverend Cheryl, Joko, Ikemiya will then share today's Dharma message. We will end the service by singing Gatha's Seiya, followed by Nembutsu on page 169. Namu Amida Butsu.
La Greetings. So today we have gathered together to pay homage at the shrine of Amida Buddha and share our deep gratitude for all the causes and conditions that have brought us together in Nembutsu. On this occasion of the April Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service, we gather together at the New York Buddhist Church before the shrine of Amida Buddha to offer incense, chant the sacred writings, and deepen our understanding of the Buddha Dharma by listening to the teachings given to us by Shakyamuni Buddha and Shinran Chonen. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha, we reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please place your palms together in Gassho, and let's join our voices in O Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Dabatsu. Namo Dabatsu. Namo Dabatsu. Shotsuki Hoyo names for April 2022. Bryceland, Penelope Warren. Chen, Portion. Honda, Reverend Shoujo. Horiuchi, Yoshitaka. Iizuka, Reiko. Ikoma, Chiyoko. Ikoma, Fumiko. Ishida, Shigeru. Kikuchi, Chiyoko. Kubo, Matsuye. Magome, Shizuo. Matsukawa, Nabe. Matsushita, Ryomen. McCarthy, Joseph. Mine, Seki. Mitani, Chiyo. Nishida, Tomihiro. Noro Polier, Mieko. Ozawa, Toshio. Sakioka, Tomio. Shi, Michael. Shindo, Teizuo. Suzuki, Haneko. Takaishi, Mokichi. Takayama, Yukiko. Tominaga, Riro. Uno, Hanako. Wakuya, Ted Tadao. Watanabe, Musa. Yamagishi, Sachiko. Yoshida, Setsuko. These are the names for April Shotsuki Hoyo. Naman Dabatsu, Naman Dabatsu, Naman Dabatsu, Naman Dabatsu. We will now have the Sutra chanting of JØ-SEI-GE, 3 sacred vows. Will everyone please rise and put your palms together in Gassho for the reading of the Vandana and Tisarana.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kyebutsu. Namo Kyebutsu. Namo Kyeho. Namo Kyeho. Namo Kyeso. Namo Kyeso. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha.
Please be seated. Today's reading is titled, "This Body is Not Me." This is a poetic rendering or explanation of Sariputra's words to Sudatta, or Anathapindika, who was a wealthy householder and one of Shakyamuni's beneficiaries. He donated the Jetavana Grove so that Shakyamuni could build a monastery. So it's a long sutra, but Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully renders it in this prose, which I will now read. This body is not me. I am not limited by this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never died. Look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars, manifestations of my wondrous true mind. Since before time, I have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass, sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are a game of hide and seek. So laugh with me, hold my hand, let us say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today, we will meet again tomorrow. We will meet at the source every moment. We meet each other in all forms of life. Namandabutsu, namandabutsu, namandabutsu. Now we will have our Dharma message by Reverend Cheryl, Joko, Ikemiya.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everyone here today, and also those of you who are joining us online. That was a beautiful reading, Isabel, especially meaningful to those who are remembering their loved ones today. Place your hands together in Gassho. The mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood is the mind seeking to save all sentient beings. The mind seeking to save all sentient beings is true and real shinjin, or true and trusting, which is Amida's benefiting of others. This is from the hymns of the Pure Land Masters. Thank you. You can put your hands down. In this passage from the hymns of the Pure Land Masters, we're reminded of the path of Dhammakara Bodhisattva, a path that begins with the intention and desire to attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings in the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life. Bodhisattva Dhammakara, on the path to becoming Amida Buddha, in the 18th primal vow, declares to not attain enlightenment until all sentient beings are released from samsara, from suffering. Under the guidance of Buddha Lokeshvara Raja, Bodhisattva Dhammakara endeavors to achieve this goal by declaring and fulfilling the 48 vows, and by practicing for eons of time the paramitas, or the perfections. These perfections become realized and embodied in Amida Buddha. In the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life, the Sambujo, when we recite that, Bodhisattva Dhammakara's vow, which indicates a path for our life as we seek a way to become better human beings, for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, and for others. That path is the 6 paramitas, or perfections. I vow to transcend life and death and free all beings among the virtues of dana, or generosity, readiness, discipline, patience, and endeavor. The highest shall be deep meditation and wisdom. We come here to the New York Buddhist Church to reflect on the Dharma and life lessons that will help us to become better human beings. And as better human beings, we strive to benefit others. As we come to share the journey of life with others like us, our fellow Sangha members. The 6 paramitas, or perfections, are means by which we humans might be freed from our state of samsara, or suffering, as we live out our imperfect lives, struggling with the 3 poisons of greed, anger, and ignorance that are ever present in our lives. the paramitas address ways that we can deeply understand and embody these practices. And the paramitas opened our eyes to the Pure Land, a world free from suffering, which we can begin to realize in our own lives. And we've talked often about the 6 perfections, and just as a reminder, they are dana, which is generosity, charity, or giving; shila, keeping the discipline and abiding by the precepts; kshanti, patience, tolerance, or forbearance in the face of suffering or insult; virya, zeal, energy, and endeavor; dhyana, deep meditation, contemplation; and finally, prajna, wisdom, the power to discern reality by seeing things as they truly are. We have the Orange County Buddhist Church's interpretation, too, of wisdom or prajna, which states, "May I understand the meaning of Namo Amida Butsu." Indeed, when we hear Amida's call and then recite the Nembutsu, the Buddha dwells in our hearts and minds. And we fulfill Amida's vow of deep wisdom and compassion, which comes alive in our thoughts, words, and actions. As we practice and absorb each of the paramitas, they lead us to a deeper insight and understanding, leading us from the suffering of this world, of samsara, to a life of freedom, joy, and peace. And as we focus on the paramitas, when we hear and say Namo Amida Butsu, we experience it with oneness, a oneness with Amida and all sentient beings. And today, as we say Namo Amida Butsu, we are one with those who we have lost in this month. We're no longer separate individuals then when we say Namo Amida Butsu, but we realize our interdependence with the universe. So over the past few months, I've been focusing on each of the 6 paramitas. In my Dharma messages, I've discussed generosity, shila, the keeping the disciplines and following the precepts; kshanti, patience, tolerance; virya, energy and perseverance. And today I'll focus on the 5th paramita, which is meditation or contemplation. Dhyana, as such, corresponds to the last 2 aspects of cultivation in the Eightfold Path. And these aspects being right mindfulness and right meditation. These terms of mindfulness, meditation, and contemplation are often interchangeably referenced, but while being interdependent, they each have different nuances in their meanings. When we're mindful, we clear our minds to focus on the thought or action we wish to act upon. Meditation can clear away the wandering monkey mind that flits around, distracting us from our intended goals. Random thoughts, irritations, and past or future occurrences, they invade our minds as we try to focus and be mindful. It's difficult to empty one's mind of those distractions as we endeavor to focus and be mindful. When I think of mindfulness, I think of my father, who in his 80s and 90s started to make Japanese kites and toys. He'd start early in the morning and continue throughout the day with such passion and focus that he often forgot to eat, to rest. We, his children, would call him often to remind him to take care of himself. Eat, take breaks, stretch his legs. He was rarely distracted from making those kites, which he constructed from decorative napkins, thin wooden strips, long sticks, colorful ribbons, and spools of thread. The result of his focused mindfulness was that at many festivals, including the New York Buddhist Church's Obon Festival at Bryant Park, was that he'd give away those kites and toys to the children that came. So I can never forget the joyful expression on his face as he watched the children race away with those kites flying behind them. Mindfulness, aside from a specific religious practice, has become so popular as the form of teaching also and training that even some elementary schools around the country have their students sit quietly at the beginning and the end of the day. And as a result, the students are more focused, productive in their schoolwork, more thoughtful and cooperative with their fellow classmates. Perhaps the most widely form of meditation is the sitting meditation, zazen, the meditative state that calms the body and mind and leads to clarity of vision, which aids in practicing right mindfulness and right concentration of the Eightfold Path. The physical act of sitting silently, quietly, and quieting the body and the mind leads the meditator to achieve a state of calm and equilibrium. Because the mind is clear, we can see things as they truly are, which leads us to right view, the first step of the Eightfold Path. If we envision our minds as mirrors, one that is polished and clear, not streaked with dust and dirt, then we can see things clearly. We see reality as it truly is, and not distorted by the poisons of greed, anger, and ignorance. With greed, we disregard the needs of others. With anger, we lose reason and balance. And with ignorance, we make decisions based on misperceptions and lack of understanding. We truly do not see things as they truly are. This meditative state allows us to concentrate on the Dharma teaching and become one with the mind of the Buddha. When we come face to face and contemplate our true selves, we experience the mind of the Buddha and can better understand the reasons for our actions and the actions of others. The mental or spiritual contemplation achieved then opens insight and deep understanding of the questions surrounding our lives, on the human condition, on the workings of the universe. This understanding leads to a life of benefiting others, as well as the lives of all sentient beings, all creatures on this earth, and all the elements in the world. In fact, as we cultivate the first 5 perfections of the paramitas, the path opens to the 6th perfection of wisdom. This form of sitting meditation, which is most commonly practiced in monastic forms of Buddhism, requires years of sustained commitment and great physical and mental effort. When Honen Shonin and Shinran Shonin sought a way for the commoner to reach enlightenment, they did so through simpler means. In Jodo Shinshu, our meditation indeed, is the Nembutsu, the recitation of Namo Amida Butsu. When we consider the training and time involved in achieving enlightenment through deep sitting meditation, the common person didn't have the time or the means to do such a practice. Honen and Shinran's Nembutsu meditation allowed the ordinary person of limited means to achieve immediate connection with Amida Buddha. We experience this unity through the Nembutsu, both by being called by Amida and calling Amida. This calling is the work of Dhammakara Bodhisattva, his primal vow, declaring that he would not attain enlightenment until all beings are brought to enlightenment and be freed from their suffering. The invocation call from Amida is experienced through other power, and sometimes it's called Amida power, and this is referred to as Tariki. Through the Nembutsu, we hear the call of Amida, experience a oneness with the Buddha and all sentient beings, and recite the Nembutsu back with energy and joy. This unification comes from Amida Buddha, and it is Shinjin, which was not initiated by our self-power, but from Amida's call to us, the fulfillment of the primal vow. Shandao said in one of the seven masters, he said in his commentary on the Contemplation Sutra, when sentient beings say the name of the Buddha immediately hears them. When we experience this unity as we recite the Nembutsu, we then live and act with generosity, with perseverance, with energy. We observe and practice the disciplines of the precepts. And with a sense of calm and equanimity, we fulfill the teachings while making decisions based on wisdom. This benefits us by creating a sense of oneness with others, with other beings, with our pets, with the nature that we experience outside. And it frees us from a focus on ourselves, enabling these actions to become pure acts of joy, of generosity, and freedom. I'll read a little bit from Chantal's commentary on the Contemplation Sutra. We shall receive the Buddha's great mind of compassion and never falter in our efforts. May the Buddha guide us always in our humble efforts. In each thought, we shall be mindful of the Buddha. We are foolish beings who have wandered in delusion from time immemorial. Now, in this decadent age, hundreds of years after the Buddha's nirvana, how fortunate we are to meet Amida's primal vow that leads us straight to peace and bliss. I direct my bodhisattva thoughts and practices to Buddhahood and becoming one with Amida Buddha. Compose this verse to take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. May the Buddhas of the 10 directions, numbering more than the sands of the Ganges, awaken our darkest minds with their inconceivable power of compassion. Please place your hands together in Gassho and repeat after me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandaps. Namandaps. Namandaps.
Will everyone please rise for our Gatha? Seiya, page 226, followed by Nembutsu.
Please be seated.
We now have our announcements. Next week will be our Hanamatsuri service, and this is the service that we hold to celebrate the birth of the historical Buddha, and that will be at 11:30. If there are any children who would be coming for the first time, please call the ministers and we can arrange for their introduction. But for those with small children, if they would like to help us decorate the Hanamido, which is the shrine which houses the baby Buddha, please bring them around 10:15, 10:30, and they can help us with decorating the Hanamido. So that will be next week at 11:30. Are there any other announcements? Anyone? Okay. So I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. I'd like to thank Reverend Cheryl, Joko, Ikemiya for your wonderful talk. We'd like to thank our tech team of David Brady and Carl Palma for bringing the Dharma live to those of you joining our virtual Sangha, and for enabling those who are in the Hondo to hear with great clarity. We have a wonderful new sound system. And shout out to Dave Brady's friend who helped install that. Please thank him for us. Carl's friend, okay. I think he's the church's friend now, so please thank him for us. And thank you to Nobuko Kodama-san for playing the piano today so that we don't sing a cappella. We really appreciate your playing. Anything else? The flowers were donated, the beautiful forsythia were donated by someone who usually prefers to be anonymous, but shout out to Ruth anyway. And these beautiful, what are these called? Hydrangeas. There's someone donated beautiful hydrangeas today. I don't know who. That was Carl? Did you bring the hydrangeas? All right. Carl, thank you so much for the hydrangeas today. So we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate seeing all these beautiful spring flowers, which remind us that the weather is changing. So everyone, please be aware of that. So Cheryl Sensei today spoke of dana, and we appreciate your dana, your donations through which we maintain our temple and continue to bring you these services. We would love for you to become a member if you're enjoying the service. You may go to our online website, newyorkbuddhistchurch.org, and download a membership form. If you would like to know more about the benefits of being a member, you can speak to any one of us or any of the board members after the service. For those of you who have not yet done a shoko incense offering, you are free to do so after the end of the service. We appreciate you joining us here today, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Hanamatsuri. It will be a wonderful celebration for all of us. Without Shakyamuni Buddha, we would be living in, there'd be no New York Buddhist Church. So thank you so much, Shakyamuni Buddha. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Let us have our closing gassho. May we all become awakened to Amida's infinite light and life, the compassion and wisdom that embraces and never abandons us. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.